Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we are still in our update, I guess, well, it was going to be 1.20, but our update 1.21 money guide week. This time I'm taking a look back at the Toyota. I saw a lot of comments when update 1.20 came out saying the Toyota is completely dead now, it doesn't work as good as it used to. So I thought, you know what, I'll go back, I'll have a look, and I'll find sort of the most effective way to run this car. So it really has changed. The setup, however, is still pretty similar, just needing a slight change to really get those performance points down a little bit more. So if you want to buy this car for yourself, it's a little bit expensive, but it does pay for itself. It's the Toyota GR010 Hybrid 2021 from the Toyota dealer for 3 million credits. Quite a bit expensive, but like I said, over time, this thing was probably paid for itself around about, 10 times over for myself. So essentially, just call it an investment, and honestly, just trust me on this one. It is still one of the better runs at Sardinia. In terms of setup, we are going with the racing hards. This is only compound you need for the car. You won't need wets or anything like that. Body height adjustment at the front is 90 and at the rear is 87. Anti-roll bar at the front 6 and at the rear is 9. Damping ratio compression is 25 front, 25 rear. Dampening ratio expansion is 45 front and 45 rear. Natural frequency 3.50 at the front and 4.20 at the rear. Negative camber angle is 3.0 and 2.5. Toe angle is outwards at 0.10 at the front and 0.05 at the rear, again outwards. On the differential side, we've got initial torque at 5 at the front, and at the rear we are running 5 again. Acceleration sensitivity is 20 front and 40 at the rear, with braking sensitivity being 5 at the front and 5 at the rear. We are not using we are using a power restrictor. It is set to 70, but do not let that put you off. The ECU is fully customizable and set to 88 on its output adjustment. Downforce, this is the main bit I had to change. So at the front it is still 700, but at the rear it's now 1040, so a little bit more downforce at the back. Nothing else needs changing. Feel free to pause at any moment. This is for the newbies. In terms of the event you're going to be using, you're going to head into Europe. It's Sardinia road track, not the windmills. That is the dirt track. Go ahead and enter this one here, the World Touring Car 800 event, and we're just going to go ahead and jump in. So definitely the strategy has changed. My personal preference before this update was to basically short shift all around, leave it in about fuel mix 2 and basically do it in a single stint. Now we have higher tire degradation, we have damage, which is really easy to take, and so yeah, it's just kind of a little bit shuffled up how to run it. Now the way I found to do it this time was actually just go flat out, leave the car in fuel mix 1. It is very good on its fuel consumption. This means we are going to have to pit a single time now, whereas before you could have done it on a no stop. So sadly it is not going to be as fast as it overall was before. However, you will be running at faster speeds. In terms of driving this car, I find short shifting is definitely the preferred way to drive it. It will save you that bit extra fuel, and the car just seems to react quite well to it. In terms of overtaking, you can see I always pretty much get caught out by that Subaru. Luckily we have not taken any damage. I do recommend just being a bit more careful than you used to be in terms of running Sardinia on the opening lap. It's very tight up the top end and it's very easy to take damage. If you do, you're going to know about it. Update 20 has really kind of upped the damage, and it's to the point of where it's ridiculous and not even challenging. It seems like the slightest touch will really kind of just below how the car handles. It will start drifting off to the side, you'll be down on power. But so yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. Another reason to short shift is to save the battery. So you've got the hybrid system. The more you short shift, the longer it will go into the race. You do want to kind of use it up by the end, so just kind of work out the best balance for it. Myself, I'm not fully concentrating on it, but you do want to keep basically trail braking and all that good stuff to keep it charged. In terms of clean race bonus, again, it's only under yellow flag situations. As you can see here, we're on lap 2 and we're already going to squeeze ourselves up into the lead. You can see the extra tire deg as well starting to kick in. So a cool little side note is it's actually going to be Fragger that will take the first pit stop of the race. Now it is not Portia, so Fragger is actually the first pit stopper due to the higher tyre degradation. As you can see, I pushed just a little bit too hard here and did actually spin up the rear, so it is still possible as that tyre degradation kind of kicks in to basically spin this car. Although it's got tons of grip, just be careful as you get further and further into your stints because the tyres do wear a lot more harshly than before. Portillo will take his pit stop at the end of lap 4. I also had the Frenchman pitting in at the same time, something that's never really happened before. So just kind of weird to note that it's kind of just changed up a little bit. On lap 8, we are going to box in and take our first pit stop of the race. This is going to be your only pit stop. I fully recommend going onto hard tyres. As you can see, our front right is pretty much non-existent anymore, with the front left not far behind it. So jump on another set of hard tyres, get those changed, and then fully fill the tank. This is because we're going to go for a more of a sprint run. While, you know, tyre degradation will be still a little bit higher, it's actually not too bad overall. At this point, you really can ignore short shifting. Just use as much power as you can, get that battery used up, and just fly to the end. This will probably be when you start putting your faster lap times in. I know I did. I found that my sprint was much quicker this time over. Obviously, we only have 6 laps remaining, so that is our 1 pit stop done and out of the way. On lap 11, I have pretty much lapped the whole field. Again, just being careful not to take damage while lapping cars because they're an absolute nightmare. They do not obey the blue flag rules. I think we all know that. It's pretty much always been like that. However, it seems worse since update 1.20. In terms of my fastest lap, this was it. You can see I'm going absolutely flat out, using pretty much all of my remaining battery while still trying to keep it just a tiny bit charged. The fronts are definitely wearing a lot more than the rears. The rears on this car are actually quite good, so you won't find it to be sort of too drifty at the back. I do find that the rears really do sort of drop off a lot faster than the back tyres. We are running a full power fuel mix, so we're just going as fast as we can. We've absolutely thrown short shifting out of the window. We're luckily going to get a pretty decent clean run in terms of traffic. They're not going to be too grouped up. Luckily they are basically at the other side of the track, the big group that you usually end up catching sometimes. So again, it's all about just using maximum power, looking for the 100 board, bringing the brakes down. We're going to sort of overshoot this one a little bit. Again, you need to kind of adjust for tyre wear, because I cannot stress this enough, it really has changed and it does make such a huge difference to how the car handles. We're already 3 temps up. We're just going to do a little downshift, swing the car through, do another little short shift, and again power down into the left-hander. Quite a tight one. You want to brake just before the 100 board, try and get it in nicely. Luckily we're not going to run it into the back of the Mazda, so it didn't hold us up too much. We're going to take the slipstream and fly into this very fast right-hander, pretty much full power with a tiny little lift, and away we go to the finish line for our fastest lap of around about a 1:36. By the end, we're on still a pretty decent time in terms of Sardinia. We're just over the 25-minute mark. Now, that was pretty much the sort of Group 2 standard of the GT500s way back. However, sadly, due to that extra pit stop, you just cannot run the Toyota in the 23-24 minute range. Currently, it's just a little bit slower, but it's still very effective nonetheless, and it definitely should be most people's go-to if you want to run Sardinia, along with the likes of the brand new McLaren MP4-4. So, very strong showing from the Toyota, even after update 1.20. As you can see, overall was a 25 minutes, 15 seconds, 0.328, even with a little mistake early on. We did a fastest lap of a 1:36.435 on lap 13, sorry, and it's definitely not a bad run. Again, like I said, it's just not as quick as pre-update 1.20, and I guess that's what Polyphony wants to do. 727,500 in around about 25 minutes is not too bad at all. So there you go. I've recovered the Toyota, even with its, changes in kind of strategy and how to run it. It's still a very strong showing and definitely one of the standouts to run around Sardinia. However, with the Tomahawk being in at the minute, I cannot really recommend you running this. If you completely hate running the Tomahawk and hate running Tokyo, then go for it. The payout's just a little bit less for, around about 5 minutes more work. Or you can just do an extra 5 minutes and go for Le Mans. But definitely, you know, if you want to run Sardinia, a lot of people do because it's quite basic. There's not much in terms of, you know, variable weather or anything. Then the Toyota is still a definite go-to, and you can 100% make this work very well after update 1.20. Thank you to the channel members. If you want to donate, donation links are in the description down below. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers, guys. Peace.